In a quiet corner of Kolkata, tucked between rows of aging colonial mansions and mango trees heavy with memory, lived a girl named Aanya. She was 24, radiant with a kind of natural beauty that seemed untouched by vanity. Her long black hair fell like a silk curtain down her back, her eyes were wide and searching, and her voice, soft as early morning mist, carried the weight of emotions she never fully revealed. Anya lived alone in her grandmother's old house, a crumbling yet charming two-story villa painted in faded cream. She was a writer, or so she called herself. Mostly, she stared out of windows, typing half-lines and sipping cold tea. Life had given her space but no direction. She ached for a kind of connection she couldn't describe. Her friends called her dreamy. Her therapist called her lonely. Then came the sweeper. His name was Raghav. Every morning at 6, he would sweep the courtyard, the old red tiles always littered with neem leaves and flower petals from the overhanging trees. He was young, maybe 27, with sun-kissed skin and muscles honed not in gyms, but through years of labor. His hands were rough, but his movements were gentle, almost poetic. He was hired by the local cleaning service, and his presence was as quiet as the dawn itself. At first, Anya didn't notice him. She was used to help coming and going. But one morning, as she stood on the balcony in her loose cotton robe, sipping chai, she looked down and caught him humming an old Hindi love song. Something in the way he swept, as if the broom were a brush and the courtyard a canvas, held her attention. The next day, she left an extra cup of chai on the parapet. He saw it, looked up at her, and gave a small, hesitant smile. "Thank you, Didi," he said. She laughed softly. "I'm not that old," she replied. The next day she said his name. "Raghav, right?" His eyes widened. He looked surprised that she knew. "Yes," he said. "How did you know?" "I read your name on the work form," she lied. She'd actually overheard him talking to the old gardener next door. And that's how it began. Soon, their mornings became rituals.
Chai.
Small talk. Laughter. She started waking up early just to watch him. He began sweeping slower, prolonging the moments. Then one morning, a sudden rain poured down before he could finish. She called him in. "You'll catch cold. Come inside." He stood awkwardly in her doorway, wet and unsure. "Sit," she said, pulling a towel from the bathroom. "Let me help." She rubbed his hair dry. Their eyes locked. The silence deepened. It wasn't planned, the kiss, but it felt inevitable. Her fingers rested on his jaw, his hand brushed her wrist, and their lips met in a soft, hesitant connection that quickly grew hungry. After that, they didn't talk about it. But everything changed. He began coming earlier, sometimes pretending to sweep places already clean, just to be near her. She invited him in more often. On lazy mornings, he made her breakfast, soft rotis, spiced potatoes, and eggs cooked in ghee. He had learned from his mother, he said. They kissed like they couldn't help it, on the stairs, in the kitchen, under the giant banyan tree in the yard. One evening, she lit candles in the living room and played soft music. They danced slowly, her head on his shoulder, his hands resting on her hips. That night he stayed. They lay tangled on the floor, bathed in candlelight, the sheets of her grandmother's bed wrapped around them like secrets. The night stretched long, filled with whispered dreams, caresses that spoke volumes, and promises neither of them dared to say aloud. She traced the scars on his back. He kissed the poetry off her lips. But love, in a world that still clung to names and roles, was never safe. Rumors began to swirl. The old women on the street whispered. Her aunt called one day, warning her about what people were saying. "You're risking your reputation," she said coldly. Anya laughed it off. But she noticed the way neighbors looked at Raghav now. She stopped answering her door, stopped going out. Her friends stopped visiting. One day, Raghav didn't show up. She waited. Morning passed. Noon arrived. By sunset, panic gnawed at her heart. She called the cleaning agency. "Raghav? He's no longer with us," they said. "Didn't show up for 3 days. We let him go." Her hands trembled. She called his phone, switched off. That night, she sat in the dark, heart pounding with fear and confusion. Then a knock. She rushed to the door. It was Raghav, bleeding. His lip was split, his arm bruised, his shirt torn. What happened? They found out, he said. Your neighbors. 3 men stopped me near the station. Said I was disrespecting you. Teaching me a lesson, they said. Anya pulled him in, crying. She tended to his wounds. They sat together, both silent, the weight of the world pressing on their fragile little story. I can't stay here, he said finally. Not like this. I'll come with you, she whispered. He smiled, but it was sad. You won't last in my world, Anya. You'll hate the heat, the noise, the way people stare. I don't care. I do. He kissed her forehead that night, held her tighter than ever. They made love slowly, as if each second could rewrite fate. Morning came. She woke up to sunlight and silence. Raghav was gone. No note. No message. Just the scent of him on the pillow. Weeks passed. She searched, asked around. Nothing. It was as if he had disappeared. She stopped writing. Stopped sleeping. She haunted the station, the tea stalls, the slums, asking for a man with eyes like monsoon thunder. One day, she got a letter. No return address. Just a folded note inside. You gave me a love I never imagined I deserved. But some flowers can't grow under too much light. I left because I loved you. And because I knew the world wouldn't let us stay. Forgive me.
Live. Right.
Remember me not with sadness, but with fire.
Tears stained the ink.
She looked up at the sky and whispered his name. Years later, Anya published a book. A love story. The final chapter ended with a poem. He swept my courtyard and stole my heart. I gave him tea, he gave me the stars. We kissed between silence and dust. And loved, though the world said we mustn't. The book became a bestseller. One day, after a reading, a woman approached her. I knew Raghav, she said quietly. He's in Varanasi now. Runs a school for children. Said your name once, while watching the river. Anya smiled, tears in her eyes, and walked out into the evening light, where the wind still carried the scent of rain and memory.